flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a result of the bid opening, and I guess we can't do anything.
Right, we were waiting for our electrical engineer, Mr. Wilson, to give us his final review for the approval of this. Unfortunately, he was tied up on another issue today with the village, so he didn't have time to finish it. So I think we're going to have to postpone that until either a special meeting or the next meeting.
Why don't we have a special meeting to get this bid out as quick as possible? Okay. I don't know when.
Whenever you get the chance.
I would hope we have it sometime tomorrow.
If he does, maybe, can we have a special meeting Thursday? It's just award the bid. Get 3 people there.
Afternoon.
Yeah, anytime, Kelly.
Afternoon, yeah, I'm not available in the morning.
How about, is there any chance for Wednesday afternoon instead of Thursday, because I'm not going to be there on Thursday?
That's not a problem. Not a problem for me, but I'll get some work.
We get a form.
Just give me a call.
Do you have a time in mind?
Not 1 o'clock.
Not?
Right, Tom Renee's coming at 1.
Okay, how about say 3 o'clock?
Should be fine. Or 12:30.
12:30?
Wednesday. Anytime's fine
3
with me.
o'clock?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Thank you, Ford. Okay, comments from the public at this time? No, you're not gonna talk at this time, Paul.
I was sitting there, they didn't even blink my eyes. I'm not public then.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I'm teasing you. Nobody at this time?
Sure.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Hi, I'm Lynn Charlier. I just wanted to basically come in and introduce myself to you. I am planning on doing a small subdivision off Smith Street. It's going to be called Meadows Edge. And I just thought I should come in and let you know that you might see my face around and see pieces of paper flying across your desk, you know, for different things. And just thought it would be appropriate.
How many houses do you want to build?
Well, the minor subdivision is going to be 3 to start with. And then I'd like to, hopefully, over the next year and a half, do 16 altogether. Yep. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, thank you, ma'am. We certainly appreciate it.
Okay, nice meeting you.
Nobody else? This time, all right, close the meeting to the public at this time. We'll have a chance at the end of the meeting. Minutes of the 2 meetings of July 21st and July 25th. We'll have copies. Is there any additions or deletions?
There actually needs to be a correction on the meeting of July 21st. It should be in the middle of Trustee Huckro's report, and what the part that carries on to the next page. First paragraph. I guess it's the last sentence, which is talking about the depth of the water lines under Maple Street. And it reads that there are some areas where the water lines are 16 feet deep, and I believe that Eric had said that they would have had to dig down that far if they would have placed them at 6 feet or farther in the ground, and so that's why they needed to be as low as a couple of feet, which is later on in that sentence. Just don't want there to be any confusion with people in the future thinking that there are actually water lines 16 feet under Maple Street when they're in fact not, so.
Anything else? If not, I entertain a motion to accept the minutes as corrected.
Got it.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by your sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Bills. Those copies of the bills. Any additions or deletions?
No, there is not.
Thank you.
Make a motion to accept the bills.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, vote by your sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Correspondence.
We have a letter that we received from the City of New York Fire Department. It reads, "Dear friends, on behalf of the New York City Fire Department, please accept this token of remembrance from the World Trade Center site. Lee Ilpe, father of fallen firefighter Jonathan Ilpe, conceived the idea of giving a piece of steel recovered from the site to those who came to the aid of the FDNY following the events of 9/11. We will never forget your support and kindness in our darkest hour. Through the efforts of many dedicated people in New York City, workers at the site collected the steel, and the design firm of White House and Company created these end casings. This project has been made possible through the generosity of the Fire Safety Education Fund. This piece represents the tremendous strength of the 343 men who died so that thousands of others could live." And it signs sincerely Nicholas Scapata, Fire Commissioner, and Frank Crothers, Chief of the Department.
Brian? And there's a framed copy of the letter, and there's a piece of steel from the City of New York.
There you go.
A little bit more.
Congratulations to the boys. Thank you. And the men and women.
Thank you. The next letter I have is a letter dated July 26th. It's addressed to Dear Mayor Rivers and Village Board. Thank you very much for bringing the street sweeper to our Touch a Truck event at Three Steeples. I appreciated your bringing it, and I learned something myself, that a street sweeper has 2 steering wheels and controls. Thank you also for approving the fire engine being present. I appreciate so much all the volunteer effort that was needed to provide these vehicles. I would like to make this an annual event and hope to have another Touch a Truck event next summer. Thank you again for all of your help. Sincerely, Joanne Herring, Coordinator. The next letter is dated July 29th, addressed to Village of Rouses Point Board members. Mr. Mayor, trustees, and to whom it may concern, we have been informed that the pavement we have between the sidewalk and street is going to be replaced by grass. We are requesting that the pavement be put back. There's a drain in that area now that will not drain properly if there's grass planted in that area. Grass will also require more upkeep. Who is going to maintain the grass and do the upkeep on this area you are planning to change? Whose responsibility is it as the village claims all property outside the sidewalk? We truly believe that the choice between having grass and or pavement should be left to each individual property owner. We want our pavement put back as it was before. Thank you. And it's signed Daniel and Kathleen Cooper, 41 Maple Street, Rouses Point. And that's what I have for correspondence.
Thank you, Bill. Reports of mayor and trustees. Oh, let's see supplemental. The resolution tonight. Paul, would you like to explain this resolution about being the lead agency for SEQRA?
Okay, there's actually one resolution, and of course, I don't know how many people saw what I dropped off this morning. Basically, the plans. This is for submittal to Corps of Engineers, DEC, Historic Preservation, Lynn Garofalini is the woman that we send them to there. Basically, this is the permitting stage in its full course. Does not require any dollar commitment at this point in time. All it is a formality. It authorizes the mayor to sign the application because it has to have an official signature on it. It authorizes the village to be the lead agency on this. Basically, it's obvious that the size of the project is going to have a state environmental quality review. The appropriate way of doing it is seeing it's a municipality, is for the municipality to be its own lead agency. That means that whoever's in charge of SEQRs, I think it's Trustee Penfield, is that correct? That means the preparation of the appropriate paperwork at the end of all the impact statements and that kind of thing. These plans will be reviewed by all agencies involved. They will make comment on them. They will open it for public comment as well. All parties concerned, people that live in that area, any citizen of the village can respond to these in any way, shape, manner, or form. The responses are required to be in writing, and that will follow the next sequence. I cannot tell you how soon that they will actually start doing this or sending out public notices. I've got other information on that I'd like to share with you afterwards. But basically, I'm asking the board to make a decision tonight, if possible, to determine that it wants to be the lead agency, and also give the mayor authorization to sign the applications. What is in Phil's hands is a joint application, and it deals with all the different agencies concerned: historic preservation, archaeological studies, and so on and so forth. Again, it's our engineering company is prepared for us. You have the drawings. Looks pretty good. They've already been down. The engineering company has sat down with Brian and looked over the lights and that kind of thing, and they've had a review of where the dry hydrant's going to go, and everything is looking fine. Also presented this morning was the structure out on the end of the lake, on the end of the dock, so to speak. There are two options. We can stick build one, or we can buy a prefab. The cost of the prefab will be slightly lower than the cost of a stick build. This number involved in that is already included in the original quotation. It's not additional monies on top. Again, there's no need to make a decision on the structure at this point in time. I'd like the board's input because there are some really attractive designs. My thoughts is don't give them too much space out on the end for people to get between the structure and the sidewall. However, the fencing or the railing will go all around the exterior edge anyways. But I'm thinking if you give them too much room out there, somebody's going to use it the wrong way. But I would like the board's input, hopefully by the next meeting, as to what design you prefer. Again, estimated part of this is maybe a little less than $100,000 if it's prefab. Again, that's part of the original price. If you stick build it, it's going to probably be more because you'll be dealing with different contractors. My own impression is I like the prefabs, but that's my opinion only.
Paul? Thank you.
That's all I got one other, but that doesn't apply. This is something else.
You want to read that resolution?
Yes,
Please.
sir. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point, New York is requesting to construct future improvements to their waterfront on Montgomery Street and lying on the shores of Lake Champlain / Richelieu River, and whereas the village is reviewing preliminary plans and applying for funding of the said project, and whereas the project has been identified by the Village Board of Trustees to be an unidentified action pursuant to the State Environmental Review Act regulations, SEQRA, and whereas the village has been determined to be an involved agency as part of the said project, and whereas the village has requested that the village board delegate and designate the village as the lead agency to review the environmental assessment and impact of the proposed project pursuant to the SEQRA. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point, after a review of the preliminary plans and environmental assessment form, Part 1, presented by Architectural Engineering Design Associates, PC, does hereby concur and agree that the village shall act as lead agency in the determination of environmental impact for the said project pursuant to SEQR regulations, and it is further resolved that the village board of the Village of Rouses Point does hereby authorize and direct the mayor to sign and execute the letter from AEDA PC relative to the designation of the lead agency for this project.
This resolution shall take effect immediately, and I put that in form of a motion.
Can I just ask one question? I'm sorry, I'll second the motion, but I'd like to just ask one question if I could, George, before we vote. Okay, Paul, the letters that you were talking about that we're authorizing the mayor to sign, that's what that last paragraph is for, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Also, there's a form which is called a joint application that he needs to sign as well.
Okay, but that's not in this resolution?
No, because
Okay.
that requires a resolution. The other one, I don't believe requires a resolution for him to sign the application. It just requires him to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call vote, trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Huckrow. Aye. Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson. Aye. And the mayor votes aye. And that's it for me, trustee Menard.
Only discussion tonight is whether or not we have the Municipal Electric Association has a IEEP, has a fluorescent lights project that is a energy conservation project from the state. What they do is it would cost us approximately $5,200. We purchase these fluorescent lights and we give them out to village residents to use them, and therefore it conserves energy for the village. It was brought up that anybody who pays the bill, how we were going to distribute them and everything else, anybody who pays their bill would receive a coupon for, I believe, 2 of these lights. And someone in town was distributing them to be a central place. We were big cheesy hardware, willing to do it.
Just a clarification on that. That 5,200 is not coming out of the village budget or the village electrical fund. It's coming out of our energy conservation fund that we're part of. So it's actually no cost to us or to the ratepayers. We're part of this fund.
It's money that's been put aside for it.
Just to give you some background on this, last fall, when Superintendent Clark and myself attended the IEEP meeting in Syracuse, this was one of the ideas that was brought up by one of the other municipalities, and they did it down on Long Island, and it was very, very successful. And they paid the light bill, they went to the local hardware store, picked up a couple of light bulbs. People were impressed with them and went back to the hardware store and bought more. They're actually a regular light bulb, only it's fluorescent, and you screw it right in the light socket. They can ask a question.
Can I make a statement? Instead of a question. We have 7 or 8 of those in our home. They are a tremendous saving. They last 3 to 5 years. I date each one that I put up. Got them in the garage, in the house. We got our first pair, I believe it was from Clinton County Firefighters Association at the mall. And they really, really last. They're actually like a corkscrew. And a 100-watt uses up only 25 watts of power. And it gives you the light of a 100-watt bulb. So it's well worth the savings. And believe me, you're not up on the ladder changing light bulbs every 20 minutes. Great thing.
The question is whether or not we want to participate in that. Doesn't cost
I
us.
guess, yeah.
It just costs time.
I guess we
You know,
need-
we talk
we need
to
a
local
motion
people,
to-
get it set up, but that's about it.
I'll make a motion that we participate in this project.
I'll second. Motion made by trustee Menard, seconded by trustee Jefferson. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
And that's all I have for you.
Oh, thank you, trustee Menard. Trustee Huckrow.
Mr. Mayor. First item is the discussion on the purchase of the generator for the water plant. What it is that Mike Lyons, who is from the IEP, is working on this, and we're talking about a $35,000 400 amp generator, very much like the one at the firehouse. And there'll be no cost to us in terms of our budget. Again, this is IEP money. It's the same money that bought the lights for downtown. It is money that is ours, but we have to spend it very specifically, and this is one of the things we can spend it on. So I'd like to make a motion that upon receipt of specifics from Mr. Lyon, that we go to bid, publicize and go to bid.
We have to do
What?
it. They're gonna buy it.
We do have to go to bid, don't we, Phil? That's what we talked about today.
I believe,
They're gonna
they
buy
will
it.
give us the specs and we probably, I don't know what, I'm really not sure what the mechanics are of it, whether we do it or whether they actually do the bidding for us.
What they do is that they go out and buy it.
Okay, so
They're
they,
gonna send us the specs for our approval.
oh, okay, I misunderstood that, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
and that's not what we understood.
Makes life easy for us.
All right, then the motion would be modified that we purchase the IEP generator for the water plant.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Huckrow, seconded by trustee Menard. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
Second item is an update on water projects. Doug?
Yes. On contract number 1, the new water tank, the painters from Landmark were scheduled to be in town today. They did not arrive, so we've got to call into them to find out what their schedule is. And once they arrive, we expect they'll be here for a couple of weeks finishing the painting of the tank. And then they'll leave, and then the next crew will be their pipe crew that'll come in and finish off that contract. Contract number 2, the transmission line. The transmission line has moved up Clinton Street, turned to the south, and is knocking on Wyeth's door at their fence just west of the substation. And on contract number 5, the refurbishment of the existing water tank. A World International Testing was here last week, and they completed their inspection and testing. They're working on the report now. We should have their report before the next board meeting so that we can talk about to keep or not to keep that tank. And I'd like to just note that special thanks and commendation to Gary Malinsky and his water plant staff who worked up the idea with the health department on how to be able, and John Carr, on how to be able to take that tank out of service and avoid a boil water order. And they pulled that off basically flawlessly. We did have one drop in pressure on Thursday, which Wyeth was concerned about, but we corrected within minutes. And also thanks to Brian Pelkey and his people who provided the muscle to get down into that vault and turn those valves that haven't been turned in 8 years. And that was the muscle of Junior Ashline and John Bernard and Tom Reed and these 2 new guys, Jason and Bill, I think, who I don't know. And they were in and out of there a few times. And it worked like we had planned. So, any questions?
No questions, just a statement. I'd like to personally thank you because I know the hours you put in on that project, and it went, as far as I'm concerned, it went off without a hitch. And you know yourself should be commended.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Third item, announcement that Wednesday night, the 6th, 2 nights from now, at 7 o'clock, the Straw Hatters will perform at Cedar Hedge. This is the second concert in Rouses Point for the summer, and we just were made aware of it this afternoon. And talking with the people at Cedar Hedge, they did not even have it on their schedule, so I don't know what's happened, but it is scheduled to be held Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Another item, farmers market really has not done anything this year. And we're gonna leave the sign out there for 2 more weekends, and if vendors don't show up to sell their produce, and we had some really good luck last year, then we're going to eliminate the sign and cancel the farmer's market. So anybody that, press, whatever, we'd love to have some vendors, we'd love to have people in town stopping and buying some of the good stuff. But if it doesn't work after the next 2 weeks, we're going to hold up our sign. Not our tent pole, our sign. Okay, the fifth item is I'd like to request an executive session to discuss office personnel.
Second.
I have a motion made and seconded. Any discussion? There being no discussion, roll call vote. Trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Huckrow.
Aye.
Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
And my last item, I would like to request an executive session to discuss sewer plant employee
Second.
case.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion, no discussion, roll call vote. Trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Huckrow.
Aye.
Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye.
And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Huckrow. Trustee Penfield.
The first item I have this evening is a follow-up to the articles that have appeared in both of our local papers congratulating the Rouses Point Fire Department on being the recipient of the Fire Act grant for $71,005. It's really going to enable them to purchase a good amount of safety equipment at very low cost to the village. So certainly congratulations to the members of the department, and also thanks to Aaron LaFave, who helped to facilitate writing that grant and doing some of the paperwork, which certainly is a very good result for both the fire department and the village. The other item that I have this evening is an update on zoning and planning. The code enforcement officer, Mike Tatro, and myself met with some of the members of the zoning board last Monday. We had a really productive meeting to go over some of the changes that we'll be making to the village code, not only the zoning code, but other parts of the village code that need to be changed to match what is going to be put into the zoning code. And we should be ready to meet with Mr. Murnane on Wednesday with those changes. We're also discussing with Mr. Murnane on Wednesday the new subdivision requirements that the planning board will be taking care of. So those 2 local laws hopefully will be coming, I would doubt this month, but maybe sometime September, October, so we can get those on the books as well. So things in both of those departments seem to be moving along very well. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Penfield. Trustee Jefferson.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I only have a couple things tonight. First of all, I'd like to make a motion to publish a legal notice to go to bid on a telescopic loader. And it's something that we had, was up in the budget, so it's not anything out of the ordinary.
You're replacing one.
Well, that's what we're doing, we're replacing the old one with a new one. So I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Jefferson, seconded by Trustee Menard. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carried.
Doug, do you have anything on the sewer?
Yeah, a couple things. One is on Maple Street. This Wednesday, Eric Schwenke will be out taking some final as-built measurements of what the conditions on Maple Street are like. And then John Carr will be over on Thursday or Friday, and we'd like to set up a meeting with Brian. You're on vacation this week? This is just a special appearance. We'd like to have a meeting to settle the project scope for Maple Street. That is the grass pavement issue and all that. And so can there be a subcommittee meeting, the sewer committee or whatever committee would be appropriate, so that we can tell John, with all the information we have, both from the citizens, from yourselves, and from what's actually out there or was out there, this is it. So we can freeze the scope and prepare the bid documents for Maple Street. Can we, what committee should tackle that? Is it sewer?
Streets and sidewalks is Trustee Menard and Trustee Jefferson.
Can we meet like Friday morning? Because you like 8:30, right? Is that, nothing. Not Friday. Friday's not a good day. Thursday though. Thursday 8:30.
Thursday, 8:30. Yeah.
That's good. That's good for you, Brian?
Yeah, I can make it.
All right, I'll confirm that. And Thursday at 8:30, Phil, could you?
You won't be here.
and you won't be here either. Well, I'd encourage everyone to give their input to the committee members so that we can get Maple Street reconstruction out to bid.
So, can you just go over the goal of this meeting again, Doug? one
The
more
goal of
time?
this meeting-
What's the outcome going to be? when
The outcome of the meeting is the design engineer is going to have their marching orders as to this is what Maple Street is going to look like, so that the engineer can then go to bid.
With respect to what?
Sidewalks, grass, pavement.
But we gave him those instructions at the last meeting. He should already have those.
Is that final?
We
I was
voted
not
on
aware
it
of
at the
that.
last meeting, yeah.
All right, I was not here at the last
So
meeting.
if there was a change that was going to be put in place, I would imagine since it would have to come back in front of this board again.
If you would prefer, then that's what we'll do.
I think we have to, because we made a board decision. So,
Okay, it's also got to do with storm drain and such. All right, I think what we should do is still have the committee meeting,
You have to.
and then we'll,
No issues.
oh, absolutely. That's why I was asking what the outcome of the meeting is.
we'll have those details to present at the August 18th meeting then. Okay?
It's fine, yeah.
Next item on sewer is regarding the outfall, that critical path item that's been holding us up. And the mayor received a phone call from Mr. Abrahamson, the attorney for the DEC, who basically told him, oh, it's okay, go ahead, go out to bid. But we have nothing in writing from them. And that's kind of dangerous. And what we're doing is the design engineer is preparing a document to go to the DEC and say, in accordance with what you told us, yada yada, we're going to proceed. Let us know if this is not true within 5 days, or that type of letter, to try to indirectly get some written documentation that this is what the deal was, and if it's not, refute it in writing, please. And because that's holding us up. Any addition, or do you think I covered it pretty well?
You covered it well.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Okay, and the last thing I have to report tonight is, due to other family commitments, I won't be able to serve as the 4th of July Parade Chairman for 2004. So we're looking for somebody to step to the plate and organize and run the parade for next year. So if you're interested, speak with Mr. Huckrow. And that's all I have to report tonight.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Other reports, Paul? You got?
I've got a couple of things, informational. There's been a slight change in personnel at Empire State Development Corporation. Chris Flores is no longer employed by them, and I didn't have anything to do with it. Yeah, we are now represented, or we now deal with Scott Renzi. He's been here, he's looked over the project, they're very much in favor of it. He is the new manager of design and construction. He operates out of Albany. Mr. Flores has been replaced by Susanna Stein, who operates out of New York City. She's the general manager of funding, loans, and grants. And I have assurances, and Thursday of this week I plan to get together with Carol and submit. We have approximately $12,000 that has to be reimbursed to us. We'll be submitting that now that it's reached the $10,000 point. This is stuff that was previously done, engineering charges and the boring charges and stuff. We've been holding on to it. The village has paid for it. Now we're going to go for our reimbursement, and we can test to see how quickly she signs checks. Also, the Corps is moving extremely slowly on other issues that I've been dealing with. I don't know what to tell you, but be aware. They're going to be very much involved in the state environmental quality review. Their main issues are going to be navigation of waterways, and both the DEC and them, their main concern is environmental. That's what it's all about. I mean, basically, they're not looking for, is it a good idea, bad idea, do I like it, do you like it, or whatever. Is how does this project affect the environment and the lake? and expeditious action once we get their direction and move out on, under this SEQR rule, would be extremely much appreciated, because if everything works right, we should have all permits in place that we need by next April. We've got the dollars lined up to complete the parking lot, which if you take a look, there's a new plan for the parking lot and the extension of the boat ramp, moving a couple of docks around down there and finishing that part of it up. With the existing grant we have and with the money left over, we're allowed to spend all of it now. There's no longer a 10% holdback. That issue has been resolved. We can at least get that phase of it done next year. We can go out to bid and get that done. And hopefully some things will happen between now and January that might give us a bigger boost. We'll wait and see. I did receive a letter today in my home mailbox. This is from Erin Crotty. She's the head of BBC. And she's saying, "Dear interested citizen, funds are once again being made available for soil and water conservation districts for a variety of water quality improvement projects. This year, the 2003-2004 application includes 5 funding programs that may be applied for. The 1996 Clean Water, Clean Air Bond Act, also known as the Bond Act, and the Environmental Protection Fund, EPF, and other state funds, the Performance Partnership Grant, and the Long Island Restoration Act, LISRA, and the Safe Drinking and Water Act. These funding programs continue to expand the vitally important work already underway to achieve the governor's vision of a cleaner, healthier environment for all New Yorkers. Application for state assistance payments is for the following projects: wastewater treatment improvement, non-agricultural, non-point source abatement and control, aquatic habitat restoration, New York City watershed protection, municipal separate storm sewer system, Phase 2 stormwater implementation, Hudson River Estuary Phase 1 long-term control plan for combined sewer overflows, planning and assessment and education and outreach. For your convenience, the application can be viewed at blah, 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 their website. If you want to get involved in this, you'll have to let me know. I don't think it's worth the paper it's printed on.
Don't need it. Nothing there for us.
No, I think we've tapped that keg often enough. But
Thank you, Paul. Bill,
I have nothing.
thank you. Understand? Thank you. Brian?
The thing I have is, I was gonna ask tonight about the sidewalks on Maple Street. The money is already budgeted for the sidewalk to replace it from Champlain Street to Pratt Street, Champlain to Pratt Street. And I didn't know if we could just go out to bid and get the 3 prices to do the sidewalks, because I hate to wait until fall. I'd like to have the cement have time to cure before we start dumping salt and sand on them. We're getting pretty late into the season here where, I don't know if that's already a budgeted item, isn't it?
I don't know if it's budgeted, but it's in that, it's in the,
It just, if you wait till the 23rd to go out to bid, and by the time you award the bid, you're talking probably the middle of September and starting the 1st of October. I mean, you're gonna want time for that cement to cure. I mean, it's quite a stretch.
we have to go out to bid for that project. We just can't get 3 quotes.
Right.
Not that,
But is it something that we can start the process now? I'm saying.
I don't see why not.
If we can get board
Why couldn't
approval
we
to...
just say, pass a resolution that we go out to bid for the sidewalks and get our specifications together, and when we're together, go for it.
Somebody make a motion that we publish and go out to bid.
I'll make a motion to publish and go out to bid for the sidewalks.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, well, 2 seconds anyway. Trustee Menard, trustee Hussle. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. There. Mr. Carr better get his specifications together in a hurry.
We're going to do the labor ourselves.
Pardon?
We're doing the labor ourselves,
No, we want to bid on this thing.
totally.
We don't have, as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have the manpower or the labor to do this.
No, fine.
Too many projects, not enough time.
They got enough wire and pipe to do this, keep them busy till probably December.
Substation.
And then the substation. And that's becoming a critical issue after today. Anything else, Brian? At this time, open the meeting up to the public. No one to address. Take a motion for recess.
You got it.
Trustee Hussle, trustee Menard, any discussion? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, 7:40.